Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Leanne and I am so happy to have you here. Welcome. Thank you so much for watching. Today I want to talk about my highlighter collection. It's kind of been growing a little bit. I almost, believe it or not, well, I recently got into highlighters because I thought someone of my age couldn't wear a highlighter or pull off highlighter. And now I have discovered that, yeah, highlighter kind of has no age limit. And you know what? I've also decided we can do whatever we want with makeup because it washes off at the end of the day. So my collection has been building and I'm noticing what I like and what I don't like. And now I'm getting very picky about my highlighters, and I'm also discovering that I was a little bit cautious in the beginning and now I'm like, I want my highlighter to glow. And so if you want to see what my highlighter collection looks like, probably not as big as most people's, but for me it's pretty impressive. Just keep watching. So first we're going to talk about some more popular highlighters that I'm sure that everyone has, and as we are going through these I'm going to be putting the prices on the screen and I will link everything below in case you are interested in getting it. Let's talk about Becca highlighters. Now, everyone knows about Becca highlighters, and I hadn't been part of the Becca family until recently. And I almost bought like 3 more of these during the Sephora sale, but I said, I can't go crazy. I really have to like tone it down a bit. So, because I have one, and this one is in the shade. This one is Prosecco Pop. This was in a BoxyCharm a few months ago. It is, aside from Champagne Pop, it is a very, very popular color. And I do like it. It is a little dark, and I'm going to swatch it for you. But I can definitely pull it off. It is super creamy, blends out super beautifully. Let's see if I can get this to... And when I first got this, this was the most like beaming highlight that I owned. I'm trying to get a good angle here so you can see it. But I definitely like this one. Becca highlighters to me are very creamy, very consistent, and it's one that I do reach for quite often. I'm going to save my favorite for last because that's one I've been reaching for like every day recently. Moving on with my second Becca highlighter that I have, this is just a little mini that I was able to purchase, and I actually prefer mini highlighters because they are easier to pan, in my opinion, because you don't use that much of the product. So if it's too big, you feel like you're never going to hit pan on it. And this one is also a very, very beautiful color. This is was the Jaclyn Hill one that was super, super popular. Again, I was very late to the game on it. Again, super creamy. This one has a bit more of a gold reflect to it. I do wear these to work quite often because they can be subtle enough that, because if you just blend them in a little bit, they just give you that subtle sheen to it. That makes it quite wearable. But you can build it up also if you use, sometimes I will use a damp beauty sponge and do it that way if I want more of a beaming highlight. But I'm super happy, and I'll be very happy when I actually pan this one. It will be fantastic. Yet another Becca product, except this one is in a palette. I'm not usually a fan of palette highlighters because I find that you can really only use 1 or 2 colors, and I am finding that a little bit in this, but I have found other uses for it. This was their Christmas collection, and to be honest, what made me buy this was the packaging. The packaging is absolutely stunning. I totally, totally love it. It does give you all of the colors on the back. What stopped me from purchasing more of the individual highlighters is that when I went back to this, I realized that I do have some of the colors that I was going to purchase in here. So being a little diligent and doing a little research did save me some money, even though the Becca highlighters were on sale for half price at $17. Here is what the inside looks like. You see that you do have some very light shades. You have this white one in the middle, and you have some ones for darker skin tones as well. The darker ones I will use as eyeshadow, so they do not go to waste. Here we have Rose Quartz and Blushed Copper. Rose Quartz and Blushed Copper. They are absolutely beautiful shades, but this one is dark enough to be a bronzer or contour, but too sparkly to do so. Then we have Opal and we have Icicle. I'm actually really like white highlighters on my skin tone. For some reason, they just happen to work. So again, we have Icicle and Opal. These two are very, very wearable for me. They just have such beautiful texture, and the way they go on the skin and how blendable they are is what really makes me reach for them a lot. They can also be very, very subtle, so that with one swipe you're not going to get that super duper intense highlight, but they're buildable, and I said they're totally wearable colors. I don't know if I actually mentioned what this was. This is the Après-Ski Glow palette. I can't believe that I didn't mention that when I first started talking about it. I think I was just so taken with the packaging. The next two are actually blush and bronzer. So I do like that you can use this kind of as an all-in-one palette. So if I were to take this with me going anywhere, it's thin enough that it does work, but I have a blush, I have a bronzer, and I said, and I do use this one as an eyeshadow. So let's just swipe, swatch, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, Baxter's here meowing because he's mad that I'm ignoring him. The bronzer I find to be extremely blendable, and it's intense when you first put it on, but it does blend out quite well. The blush is called Winterberry, and the bronzer is called Bronzed Bond? Yep, Bronzed Bondy. Sorry about that. And this is what they look like. Again, here you have the bronzer, and here you have the Winterberry blush. What is the matter, Baxie? Yeah, you hear him? He gets so mad at me when I do this. Also, I find that if I wanted to use the blush and add like a topper, I happen to like the Opal as a topper on top of my blushes very, very lightly. So, and also this mirror, it has a huge mirror in it, which is fantastic. So when I am doing my makeup, and wow, I just realized I have on a lot of blush. That is some pretty intense blush I got going on. I'm actually wearing the, what is it? The Vintage Cosmetics blush that we got in our Boxy Charm. And I'm wearing the last highlight that I am going to be talking about. So those are my three Becca Cosmetics highlighters, and that palette does have the blush and the bronzer in it. I would love to continue buying more, but I'm trying to be a little bit more economical, and I'm buying the things that I know that I need and that I will have to go through. And when I go through some of these highlighters, then I will be purchasing more. You know, when you're you know, not monetized on your channel or anything, boy, does stuff get expensive. And I said, I don't want it to go to waste. I don't want to create landfill. And I want to, right now, review and talk about things that I know I'm actually going to use. So let's move on to a different one. Now this one, I had talked about this one in one of my like favorites and fails kind of videos a few months ago. This one I think was more a user error on my part, not user error, but when I purchased it I thought it was a powder, and it's actually a cream. I do like it, it's just they're harder. The cream highlighters are harder for me to work with because I do like to powder before I put on any other face products, and it doesn't work well on top of powder. If you're not powdering your face, then you can get away with it. And let me just tell you what it is. It is from Pure Cosmetics. It is the Moonlight Glow palette. When I was online, I actually saw almost the same one, but it was a powder. I should have bought that one. It also does come with a very nice mirror. We have Twilight, we have Lunar, and we have Eclipse. I'm going to swatch these for you. These are very subtle. If you like cream highlighters, the funny thing is, if it's cream, but it still has a little bit of powder feel to it. At least this Twilight one was. The middle one here feels much more like a cream, and you can see it moves around like a cream. But then it goes on with a slightly powdered finish. And this last one, Eclipse, again, feels much more like a cream. As you can see, because you're barely going to be able to see them, I have them across here. They're super, super subtle. If you were looking for a super, super subtle highlight just to give you a little bit of glow that you don't want to like scream that you're wearing a highlighter, I highly suggest these. I don't reach for these too much, but I am determined to give them more love and to play with them. And the packaging, Pure has some of the most gorgeous packaging. This packaging is absolutely stellar. I really, really love it. It's a solid, nice, compact. It gets a little fingerprinty, but I love it. And I kept the box because the box was absolutely just as stunning as the inside packaging. These people with their marketing tactics, I'm telling you, they will snag you every time. Next, let's talk about a couple that I'm really not thrilled with at all. This is from e.l.f. I think this was the very first highlighter that I actually bought. And so originally I was turned off saying that this is what highlighter is. I'm not too thrilled about it. It's a bronzer and highlighter duo. The bronzer is a bit too dark and sparkly for me, and this also feels on the dry side. Now maybe if I bought another color it might work better, but that is the bronzer. I have to use this the very light hand and very sparingly, but it's got a little bit of sparkle in it. The highlighter is super dry, feels super chunky, and it's not even really a highlighter. I mean, look at, here it is in the pan. And it's almost like another bronzer. It doesn't do any highlighting whatsoever, but it's got so much sparkle in it that I don't want to use it as a bronzer. I hardly ever reach for this. Sometimes if I'm in a pinch and I don't feel like grabbing another palette, I will just throw one of the colors in my crease or something to that effect. But it wasn't expensive, and that was my first foray into highlighters, and I was like, oh no, what is this? But I soon discovered after that there is much, much more love to be had for highlighters. And I love that it came with a mirror and everything, and it wasn't very expensive, but still, I just really tend not to reach for it. Coffee break. Sorry, no new cup today, just using my regular old puppy cup. Still gotta have it though. Just so you know, so I'm not layering everything on top of everything. I am swatching off in between. I'm just cutting it out of the video so you don't get bored with that. This next one I got as a little sample when I had bought a couple of Benefit products, and it's the What's Up highlighter. It's cute. It looks like a little bullet lipstick. It's nice. I don't think it's like miraculous. What color is this in? I don't know if they have any other colors this, but it says soft focus. You can see it's very, very subtle. Sometimes I'll use this on my brow bone. Sometimes, again, it's a cream, but luckily it's not too liquidy and sticky. So sometimes I will just use this really quickly. It's definitely nice, but for some reason, again, I'm just not like gravitating towards it and reaching for it. I don't think there's anything particularly bad. It's a subtle highlight. I do like it as a brow bone highlight and stuff like that. It's just not one that I really grab for, but I do like that it's a mini and I can probably use it up. Next up I have a highlighter from Tarte. It is a little mini one and it is called Glimmer. Here is what it looks like. It's a very wearable color. I switch up between this one and the little baby Becca one in my purse. The only thing I don't like is it is very chunky to the touch, but it goes on smoothly, but again, it's a very, very subtle highlight. So if you're looking for something that is going to be seen from across the street, you're not going to get it with this. But, I'm showing these because not everybody wants to be seen from, all over the place, and they just want just a little bit of subtle glow, and I think that this one definitely provides that. It's a very wearable. It's not too icy. It's not too dark. It just has that nice peachy, at least, I mean, I should say from my skin tone and me personally, this is a very wearable color. You can see it blends out. One that I thought I would like more because it is a cool concept. It might be just the color, but I also find that you can't blend it. It is one that we got in one of our boxes. I don't know whether it was the Allura box or the Birch box. I have so many subscription boxes I can't keep track. But it's the CLE Essence Moon Highlighter Cushion. Now I did film this one and I thought that it was a really cool concept. It totally, I'm telling you, it has a nice mirror, which is cool. The compact is identical to the Wet n Wild Cushion Foundation. I mean, the only difference is this is white, but the component itself is absolutely identical. I do happen to like this sponge. I don't find you can't put this on with a brush. You can put it on with your finger, but this one gives it a little bit more precision. The only problem is it's not, because it's like it's not even a cream, it's like a liquid and it's not blendable. So sometimes I find when I put it on, I just have like a solid stripe. So here's the cushion, and it's very cushiony, and you can see it's absolutely wet. Now, what I'm thinking is that it's the gold tone. It feels wet. Like after you put it on, you really can't touch it. You can't blend it, but you can't touch it either, or else it's gonna like smear all over the place. What's weird is that wet texture. It's odd. Now I have tried to wear it. I said I think it's just the undertones of it that it's goldy, but it's not the kind of gold that works well on my skin tone. I should mention not only is it wet, but it's oily. That's the weird thing about it is that oil feeling. I'm going to continue to try to work with it and see maybe putting this on first and layering something else on top of it because I don't want it to go to waste. Let's see, I think the concept is pretty cool. I don't know if they had any other colors in this. I didn't go online and check. When I do go on and look for the actual price of this, I will note whether or not there are other colors to choose from. But I want to try to make this work because it's kind of cool and I kind of like it, I think. Moving on to one that I really wasn't sure that I was going to pick up, and I was in store in Ulta, and it was on sale for half price, as was the other parts of the collection, and that is the Kristen, Leanne, and Urban Decay collection. This is the highlighter palette. I wasn't that impressed when I looked at it online. Here's what it looks like inside. When I went in store and I swatched it, I was way more impressed than I was with just the pictures. Now, there are two colors that I have to be careful with because they are on the darker side. Here the colors are, and they are in the exact order on my hand. Now, when I swatched them, I was really impressed. This one is just too dark as a highlighter for me. This middle one I really like. It is slightly golden, but has enough of like that white shift to it that I kind of like it. And this one over here is really subtle. It is more, this one's bronzy, this one's very white goldy, and this one is this is a cool gold, and this one is definitely a warm gold, and I can get away with wearing that. I've been liking this a lot. I do reach for it quite a bit. And I mean, it was $17.50 on sale. They still have it available. I also got this and the eye palette and one of the lipsticks as well. And I am wearing the eye palette on my eyes currently. I love this palette. It is so adventurous. It's not for everyone. I was going to do a review on it. I was filming the review and I was like, there's so many reviews on it. I didn't know if I should continue with it. I love the palette. There are mixed reviews on it, but I happen to love it. So, next there's one highlighter in here in this palette that I want to talk about because it is really very pretty. Now I didn't pull out, there are a couple of other big palettes that I have that had a couple of highlighters in them. And I didn't pull them out because they are no longer available. This one actually still is. It is from the Beauty and the Beast collection. The packaging is stunning. I have the entire collection, as a matter of fact. I did do a review on it. Now this one comes with 3 blushes and this highlighter in the middle. Well, it's not in the middle, it's only 4. They're buttery soft. You can see there's a little indent in there because I have used it quite a lot. Here is what it looks like on my finger. I just forgot to wipe the swatches off. It is very golden, but on my skin tone, I love it. If you just want a nice glow, this one does work beautiful. On my particular skin tone, I think this could also vary for a couple of people who are tending to have skin tones a little lighter and a little darker than me. I think you could pull this off. The blushes in here also are very intense, so you have to be careful about how you go in with it, but I do definitely love it. That's why I wanted to mention this one. Next up is another drugstore product from Wet n Wild. There are so many more colors of these that I want to try, and I know that they're inexpensive, but how many highlighters do I need? I have enough highlighters here to last me probably for the rest of my life, and these probably will expire before I actually get to use them. But I did see this one, and I heard people talk about it, and I had to get it because, you know, that's just what I have to do. And this one is the Precious Petal. I like this one. Well, first of all, I love the imprint, you know, the embossing of the little petal on here. I like it, but honestly, you know, everything gets so freaking hyped up and hyped up and hyped up. It's nice. I like it. Does it change my life like people make it sound? No. May not anymore. Did I break it? No, thank goodness I didn't. It's inexpensive, and I like it, and I do absolutely reach for it. Sometimes it looks good on my skin, sometimes it doesn't. I think it depends upon what other colors I happen to be wearing, but it's another one that you can, it's not, they made it seem like it was so intense as soon as you put it on. It's not. It's a pretty highlighter that can be built up and made to look more intense if you want to. But the hype around it was that, you know, it's glowing, it's all this other kind of stuff. It's a good highlighter. And for the price, I would recommend if you don't have highlighters, you want to go out and get them all, because they do have some beautiful, beautiful colors that I've just been dying to try. I've been dying to try like a purpley highlighter. Don't know if it'll work, no. Am I going to try a purpley highlighter that's $40 or $50? No, I'll probably try a purpley highlighter that's $4 or $5 and see if I actually like it. I would recommend picking them up. I said for the price, they're absolutely, if you want to build up your highlighter collection, go out and get them all and have some fun with some highlighters. Next up is another Pure Cosmetics. It's Bronze and Brighten palette. It's called the Dreamer. And we also got this one in a BoxyCharm. BoxyCharm and Pure must be partnering up because it seems like every other month we are getting more and more products. When I first tried this, I didn't like it because I thought it was way too intense. In one of my favorites and fails types of things that I did, I said I did find a way to make this work, and it actually turned out to be very pretty. But when you first open it up, it is intimidating as all heck. That's an intimidating palette. The blush, the highlighter, and the bronzer, you open it and you go, oh my god, how am I going to wear that? But I have to tell you that all 3 of them, and that bronzer is shimmery as all heck, but somehow it works. I don't even know, but somehow it just works. I mean, this is not a bronzer video, but I mean, just look at that. You have to know what kind of hand you're going to go in for. But it's stunning. But we're talking about the highlighter, so let's talk about the highlighter. They're so soft you can actually almost press into it and everything. But I mean, look at that on my finger, and wait till you see this puppy swatch. It's a little chunky, so you got to be careful. But look at that highlight. I think it is a stunning, stunning highlight. This one will emphasize texture if you do have texture on your face, and I do have some texture, but depending upon what's going on at that day or at that moment, I absolutely love wearing this, but it's intense. It does show up. You cannot hide with this one, but I really like it. I said in the beginning I didn't. It intimidated me. Yeah, I most definitely like it. So I have two more highlighters to discuss today. Now this happens to be another pure highlighter palette. This one is called the Elevation palette. I don't remember whether I bought this. I think, no, I did buy this one as a matter of fact. The weird thing about Pure is there's inconsistency in their packages. Some of their packages are gorgeous and some of them are not. And this one is just a cardboard package. It is in that new thing that they're doing with that white type of glossy package. And I saw this. This has a little baby mirror in it, which is nice. And here are the three highlighters. Oh, I bought this one in Ulta, as a matter of fact. Now, this one's interesting because the three of them are called Boost, Attitude, and Upgrade. I think they're all three, for me, very wearable colors. This one interested me because it's a marbleized. And I believe I talked about this one in one of my last videos. They're super soft, ever so slightly chunky, but I happen to like them. You have Boost, Attitude, and Upgrade. I think they're really three very pretty colors. Attitude can go on a little differently all the time because it does have that marbly appearance to it. Upgrade is very, very peachy, so if you don't like or cannot wear like peachy undertones with it, you're not going to like it. Boost, I think, is kind of just a very neutral one. But the Attitude one I said I like because it goes on kind of differently all the time. So I'm not understanding how, you know, all of their Pure is not really inexpensive. They do have some fabulous sales, but I don't understand the real big inconsistency with the packaging. When it's on sale, and I did get it on sale, I would say, I mean, it's definitely a beautiful look, and you could totally, I mean, I would purchase it again just because I kind of like it. It's totally wearable and it's fun. The last one is my favorite. And it is a very, very, and I'll say one more time, very hyped up product. I usually try not to fall for the hype. A lot of times I do. This one I waited a very long time on, but I finally did it. And you know why I did it? Because it was half price on Ofra. I've never bought anything from Ofra before, but this one was half price. And I always wanted to try it, and I finally bit the bullet, and I did. It is the Nikki Tutorials Everglow Trio. Now, the one thing I can say is I cannot use the dark one except as an eyeshadow. I've tried it, and I just have this orange stripe on my face. I even tried swirling them, but that one, these are so intense and so pigmented that even if you try swirling all three of them from my skin tone, it's way, way too harsh. I love the white one here, that it is gorgeous, blinding. I'm wearing it. I love it. I like mixing the two. I will wear this one by itself. I like mixing the two of them. And I think you can agree that they are absolutely just stunning. The formula of it is beautifully soft. They are super pigmented. And if you want a highlighter that is going to knock your socks off, I say get this. I don't know if it's still on sale on Ofra, but if you can get your little paws on this, I say absolutely get it. If it wasn't on sale, it's really expensive, and I honestly can say I probably wouldn't have bought it. But I'm so glad I did, because just look, I mean, this white one, I don't know if it's translating on camera, that this white one I'm in love with. I want to wear it. I've been reaching for it out of all these highlighters. I keep reaching for it over and over and over again. And I said this one, I do have worn it on my lid, the dark one, as an eyeshadow, and it just looks stunning. It's still very, very intense, and I can't recommend it enough. I said I have a hard time paying like $30, $40, $50 for a single highlighter or even a trio like that. Because I'm not going to use them as much as everything else that I don't mind paying that high of a price for. But I would say still get it. I'm really curious to try other Ofra highlighters. I haven't done it yet. I said I'm waiting a little bit more before adding to my collection as the whole pile topples over. But yeah, guys, so that is my highlighter collection. I was happy to share it with you. Hopefully, maybe I gave you some ideas of maybe things that may or may not work for you. Please let me know what your favorite highlighter is. I would love to know. Maybe in the future, I can pick something up that is maybe one of your favorites. And I want to thank you again so much for joining me. I hope you're all having a wonderfully fabulous day. I know I am. And I look forward to see you guys in the next one. Bye.